So, if you've not worked with any other 3D tool except Blender, you probably will not be able to notice this. To a large extent, Blender works as a very destructive tool, as it works mostly with operators. And these operators can be seen in literally almost everything that you do that is outside working with geometry nodes and the modifier stack, as even creating very simple objects like your primitives in Blender. It works with operators, which means that whenever you're done with the operator and you click out, you can no longer access that data. The same thing can be said when you're editing. So for example, if you're editing a model and you choose to do a simple bevel, once you click out, you can no longer access that data, which means you need to undo to be able to redo the same bevel. Maybe you want to make a little bit of a fraction, you don't want it to be so much of a bevel, you want to reduce that. You have to undo to redo, you get the point. The same thing with extruding. At several points, if you like to extrude, possibly you just want a tiny extrude, and now you've done it, you're now 2 steps ahead. You being able to go back means you have to undo and undo to get back to 2 steps before for you to proceed to do that forward again. This is something that's pretty different with most 3D tools. For example, if you're working with tools like Maya and you choose to make an object, you choose to bevel that object, you can always have access to that object bevel and also have multiple accesses across every other operation that you've done on that model. Unless of course you choose to delete history, or possibly you go over to the node and say you don't want to have that anymore. Because for the most part, you can always go over to the node section of Maya and make modifications, and this has always been there for Maya from day one. And let's not even get started with Houdini, as that is the literal Leviathan in terms of proceduralism. And even if you choose to discount the fact that every other operation that you do when you're editing are supposed to be destructive, the basic primitive needs to have some sort of proceduralism to a large extent. I mean, parameters should be there for you to be able to make changes when you want without producing destructive primitive from mouse up, as every other DCC tool allows you to go back and forth and make modifications on your default primitive. So if you're doing more like a deformation with a bend modifier, it is very easy for you to crank up and crank down the segments how you want. So if you want things to be smoother, you can crank that up. If you want things to be less smoother, you can also crank that down. If you take a look at all 3 apps, from Cinema 4D, allowing you to play with the bend however you want, Maya doing the very same thing, giving you more options, Houdini just knocking things out of the park, Blender simply doesn't do that. If you want to do the same bend thing, you need to first of all calculate how much segments you want, and then even if you create that, to sort of get you that bend how you want it to, if things are not working, you have to go over to edit, add a couple of loops, or throw in a subdivision and crank this up. This is something that I think is slightly unnecessary, as having a parameter that you can play with that exists for that default primitive will solve. And this is something that every other DCC tool does except Blender. However, with the brand new release of Blender 4.3, things are looking up. You see, with the release of Blender 4.3, there was a couple of interesting things that made their way to Blender. And one of the cool ones, especially for geometry nodes, are gizmos. We know geometry node has actually changed how we get to work with Blender, providing us with a lot of tools. And with the gizmo now here, this now makes it super possible for you to create anything you want inside of your geometry node and use the gizmos to control them. There are 3 basic types of gizmos that are currently available, from the linear gizmo down to the dial, all the way to the transform gizmos. Now with these 3 gizmos, we can now start creating impressive stuff. And it's not like we can now start. 3 creators have actually started this stuff, and 2 of them we're going to talk about in this video. And these have made it super possible for us to now have procedural primitives right inside of Blender. And one you can get from CGMatter, which is pretty cool. It is called the Beta Primitive, has a lot of features that you can simply rely on and do some amazing stuff, although this is a paid version, and there is also 2 which you can get from Blender extension platform. And this include the Modern Primitive, which is pretty new and very cool, and the Non-Destructive Primitive, which is also a very interesting tool that you can work with. And today we're going to explore these 2 free ones, and for those who like to take a look at these, or possibly you like to work with them, all you need to do is have a copy of Blender 4.3 and above, fire it up, go over to edit, go over to preference, and go over to where you've got get extension. We've got the Modern Primitive, which you can click and install, and we've also got the Non-Destructive Primitive. Of course, we're going to explore this as well, but let's talk about what you need to know about this one before we get on to the next. And so, to get things started, all we need to do next is to click on the burger menu, save our preference, and close the preference window. Let's get rid of the default cube, tap Shift and A on the keyboard, go over to your mesh, and you'll notice that right here we've got the Modern Primitive. These offers, well, 12 interesting primitives that you can work with, and right here we've got 5 new ones that we've never really seen before, and they look really cool. So to start exploring this is very simple. In this case, we're going to start off with the modern gear. You'll notice that we've got this gear thing here. So how this works is very simple. You've got handles. You can use this handle to increase and reduce the inner radius. You can crank this up, bring this down. This is a beautiful tool. You can use this to sort of wide reduce, do all that cool stuff. You can also use this to do some twisting. All right. We want to twist, twist, twist. Yeah, we get that. If you also want to expand that, you can also go ahead and do this. You can choose to use any of these parameters here to actually rack up the loops in several areas. And once you're ready, you need to go over to the geometry section and apply this. Reason is because if you don't apply this and you have this selected, you press your tab key, you come back to your default cube, and that is not what you want. Okay, you come back to your default cube, you cannot edit this model. But then if you go all the way back and then you come down here and you click on apply and press your tab key, there you go. If you go all the way back and go to modern primitive and say, for example, you take a look at the spring is also really cool. So we get that spring collected, and with this, we can simply crank this up. We can also go ahead and roll this so we can get those loops in. We can also crank this other one all the way up. If we like this to go in, we can also push that in. The widgets are super nice in this case. So we can go all the way up, bring that down. All that's cool stuff. They are right here. And check this out. We can also come in here and we can add some more loops, or we can, add some more rotation to that. And these are really, really cool. So to any of these things you want, you can actually go ahead and work with them. The same thing happens. Press the tab key. We don't have that. We need to come right here, hit the apply button. And now once we go ahead and press the tab key one more time, we can now start editing all of this. So if we would like to have that selection, we can now do that. And this looks really cool. Now, the next one that we have here, which I think we should talk about, is this other one called the non-destructive primitive. So we're just going to go ahead and uninstall this, and then we're going to install this one. Now, once we install that and hit the bugger menu, hit the save preference, close this. This provides you with a pie menu if you hit Shift and A on the keyboard. So with this, you also have 12 different primitives. And these 12 different primitives are slightly different because here we've got the grid, we've got the modified cylinder, the UV sphere, quad sphere, the cylinder, circle, cube, and others. Now within others, you would notice that we've got the spiral and we've also got the capsule. So you can select from any of these ones and work with them. So for example, if we take a look at the capsule does what capsule should do. So we can increase that if we want, and we can also reduce that, increase this if we want as well, increase the width if we want, and we can also increase the height. So this also works very similar to the other one. Now, the only difference with that first one and the second one is this, that with the first one, you cannot edit, okay? So you have to apply. Now, in this case, we can see exactly what we're working with. But then here is the problem with this one. Once we come through and say, for example, I have that selected and I select this and I choose to extrude this out, actually, you can go in and just do all of your model stuff right here. But then things don't work exactly as you see. If you choose to come right here and you hit the word apply, everything goes back to what it is. So it works slightly different. I would love to see a situation where you can have this as a modifier, and then you can just create whatever you want. And once you apply it, it applies and stays in that state. And that is the current situation with these tools as they are. And for all of these tools, they definitely have one thing or the other that isn't just working exactly how you want. If we go ahead and use a spiral, probably just play with this whole spiral and the widgets for the gizmo that comes with it, everything looks good. But when you start trying to make those adjustments, like we mentioned, the same thing, if you press your tab key, you can edit, but you can not keep this as a state once you're done editing. So if we go ahead and maybe I get to move this around, okay, possibly I just get to move this around for the fun of it. And if I come back here and hit apply, this is just going to go all the way back. And in this case, it simply jumps all the way up because we already made a change to that. And that is not something I think we'll like to get. However, if you're thinking about working with modifiers, this works perfectly fine. So you can choose to throw in modifiers at any point in time and get this to react exactly how you want. So if modifiers are your thing and you want to use this to create stuff based off modifiers, go for it. But outside that, if you would like to make some models and then throw in the modifier, this is going to break. The way Blender is built is just interesting. So this is just going to break for some reason. Now, speaking about this tool, for these two tools, now I've tried it, I kind of think that the modern primitive has a bit more parameters technically, these parameters are things that you might also need to go ahead and figure out yourself. And, in this case, we're just going to use these two cylinders. With these two cylinders that we have here, or with these two capsules that we've got here, you notice that on this one, we don't have parameters for the loop that should go around the segments for the whole cylinder body. On this other one, there's a parameter for that. But for what it's worth, these two are super nice, and you should definitely go ahead and try them out, as they do have various use cases that you can find. And speaking about use cases, you can also go ahead and check out gizmos. He does have something that is very cool. It delivers on promise, as it says, and you can also check out his brand new tool that is for photogrammetry. So that is also another interesting tool that he just made, and I think it's worth giving a shout out to that, because it simply allows you to do your photogrammetry right inside of Blender. It now allows you bake colors from your real world stuff into the 3D model that you've just photogrammed right inside of Blender. Now, back to the topic. For these tools that we're talking about, it would be nice to see them come to Blender by default. Besides, the folks at Blender have already added the Add Mesh tool, which allows you to drag and drop meshes right inside of your viewport. That was super cool when it came out within the 2-point series or 3-point series, but now having that become procedural would be super nice. It would be really nice to see a procedural tool where you don't necessarily need to have to go over to some downloads to get these things working, but have it baked inside of Blender. By the way, the folks at Blender have already thrown in a couple of assets before, so adding these as additional assets wouldn't be a problem. If they want to really incorporate this in, it would make sense to have more like a legacy primitives on one side and have the non-destructive primitives, just as this has been outlined here. And it will be super impressive to see this come over to the next or coming releases of Blender. So for those who like to get this, you can simply go over to the link in the description, go over to the extension platform and get it. And you can also take a look at some of the links in the description and check out that of gizmos if you would like to play with it. Something else that you can do if you have Blender 4.3 and above, you can simply get this going for free by simply coming over to the edit section, go over to preference, go right here to your get extension and install the non-destructive primitive and the modern primitive as well. More stuff are right here within the extension. Go ahead, explore. There's a ton of things that you can get. This ND tool that is here is a super impressive one. UCU Paint is another impressive tool. The Dynamic Sky is also another impressive tool. The Power Sequencer is an impressive tool. Go ahead, check these things out. These are super impressive things that are available, and you can go wrong with any of these. So this is it. Tell me what you guys think about this one in the comment section. And of course, if you like this video or you learned something from this, you can go ahead and give a like, and don't forget to share with a friend. And until I see you guys in the next one, peace.